And they said we could get out the cancer, but it still fucking kills us all.
No.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Adventurous After Dark. We are your hosts. My name is Zach Pieper. This is my delightful and lovely friend, Caitlin Noel. We are Team Adventurous, and we got one hell of a show for you tonight. Your thoughts on that, Caitlin?
Oh my god. Well, we just have so much to do tonight, and I'm super excited because Prose Police.
Yes, we are prose policing a fellow member of Team Adventurous, Mason in the Dark.
Yeah.
If you don't know who he is, he's the resident blind author of AuthorTube, along with a few others who are fellow adventurers. And he's one hell of a guy, funny, creative, good-hearted, and we're proud to have him aboard Team Adventurous. And we are policing his prose on his third installment of Bleeding Grounds, which is a popular series he's doing on his channel, getting a lot of traction for, a guy whose channel is still, pretty small. He's only got a little over 300 subs. Yeah. So we're proud to give him a little bit of shine because, by God, he deserves it.
He does. He's been here a whole year.
He's been on the Booktubes a whole year.
We're very, very glad because it wouldn't be the same without you.
Facts. After we rip Mason a new one, we have a crowd favorite in store for you.
Yep.
An installment of Gayest Sports.
Yep.
Tenant is gonna be good.
Yep.
We're introducing a new segment directly after that, which I hope you'll enjoy. I don't know you'll enjoy. I hope. It's another brainchild of me, so it's 50-50.
Yeah.
We're going to have another installment of Rebel Poet Society. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we get to the night's quintessential title topic, the cancer of Booktube, and how it's much worse than anyone realizes.
Yes.
Alrighty, so Caitlin, you are the person who has Mason's thing pulled up. Let's hop right into the nitty gritty of it.
Bad prose, what you gonna do when the prose police are coming for you? Bad prose.
Alrighty. Here we go. I'll share my screen.
You gotta do it.
Share.
You gotta do it, Caitlin. Do it for the Vine.
Do it.
Does anyone else remember Vine, or am I the only guy still saying that?
You are not the only one.
But am I the only guy still saying that?
I don't know. Okay.
Any day now, Kate.
So when I'm trying to. Okay.
Any day now.
Okay. Is it trying to capture screen? Let's see if this can do. What the?
Are you having some technical? Do you want me to pull it up?
Hold on. Let's see if it'll let me do it. Okay, I'm doing it.
Are you sure?
No, it's not letting me do it.
Okay, you said Adventurous Publications
Mm-hmm.
email.
Yep, A Symphony of Screams.
Okay.
It says this browser can't access your screen. This is trying to capture a different screen to see if the.
What the fuck?
I have no idea.
Damn it, Caitlin.
What?
One out. Yes, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
You see
One
how
out.
unprepared she is, folks? You see?
It's not that I
She's a
wasn't.
slacker.
It's not that I wasn't prepared. I didn't know that it wasn't going to let me do it.
Unprepared.
Yeah, I guess.
All right.
I am the idiot savant in the equation of the we are genius.
Don't beat yourself up too, Kate. Technical difficulties, anyone can have them. All right. So, you got it on the screen there, Kate? Do you have it on the screen?
Well, yeah, you do. It's up there.
Okay. All
Because
right.
you have controls now. Remember?
Yes. I was just making sure it was actually like visible on the thing.
Yes.
All right. So, again, this is Mason in the Dark. Go check him out. He's pretty damn spiffy. And this is his third installment of Bleeding Ground. I believe he called this chapter, a symphony of, or I think a symphony of screams is like part of the title of the overall work. I don't really know how he's titling this thing yet. I'll ask him. Anyways,
Bleeding Ground. He will probably tell us in the comments tomorrow.
I'm sure. Far away from the desolation of Huxley, many miles as the crow flies, across sweeping plains and rolling valleys, over the jagged peaks of mountain ridges and the harsh rocky wastelands lay the sea. On a cold evening, as grim winter prepared to give way to sweet spring, the sun dipped below the horizon. It painted the ocean's bubbling gray surface of vivid molten gold, tinged with ruby red. A man stood with his keen eyes fixed on 6 strangers. Brutish-looking men relaxing around a roaring campfire, ready for their evening meal. The man inhaled. The crisp sea breeze carried the mouth-watering scent of roasting fish. It was a tempting smell, even if it did seem like the meal was in desperate need of seasoning. The strangers had the numbers advantage. They looked strong and well-fed, but the man was far from harmless. A viciously playful smile crept onto his thin face. After months of travel, isolation, and boredom, the fun could truly begin again. Hitching his horse to a nearby tree, he set off towards the feasting strangers. Confidence radiated from him. Clearly, he was a man with a plan, and although he was most likely walking into a dangerous situation, his purposeful steps never faltered. Whew, that is one hell of a paragraph, folks. That is one hell of a paragraph. You want to start, Caitlin, or?
Well, I agree with Lauren when she said how it hooks you right away.
Yes.
With that description. And because it's very cinematic in a way, because at the very beginning you get this idea of starting with far away from the desolation of Huxley, but somehow you still get this idea that they're going through some kind of a wasteland. Almost.
Yeah, because the word desolation has a very strong mental. It's a powerful word. It has a lot of connotation that carries with it. I agree with that 100%. That's one of the things Mason is really good at, in my opinion, is he is really good at picking the right word for the situation and using words for maximum effect a good chunk of the time. He does not waste language.
Yeah.
I will say one thing I notice is, and this is, I don't know if this has been edited by him or anyone else, and of course he does have the sight impairment, so that's obviously a barrier. And I don't know how much that affects his ability to edit, but the punctuation needs some work in a few places. I felt like a few places there needs to be a comma, because we have this very long sentence up at the top. Far away from the desolation of Huxley, many miles as the crow flies, across sweeping plains and rolling valleys, over the jagged peaks of mountain ridges and the harsh, rocky wastelands by the sea. Very long sentence, but it is properly broken up by commas. But then, right after that, on a cold evening, as grim winter prepared to give way to sweet spring, the sun dipped below the horizon. No comma in that. And I can actually see that one's debatable on whether it needs a comma. On a cold evening, winter prepared to give way to sweet spring. Actually, yeah. Personally, I would put a comma right after spring.
Well, honestly, I would say because how the sentence is broken up, and for those of you who would like to know how to properly use Oxford commas, this sentence is a really good example. Okay, so here we have, on a cold evening, as grim winter prepared to give way to sweet spring, the sun dipped below the horizon. How you could break this up with Oxford commas is, on a cold evening, comma, as grim winter prepared to give way to sweet spring, comma, the sun dipped below the horizon. Because how you could alter that would be, on a cold evening, the sun dipped below the horizon as grim winter prepared to give way to sweet spring, or vice versa. Just a little tip.
Yeah, good breakdown, Kate. Solid breakdown. Moving on, it painted the ocean's bubbling gray surface a vivid molten gold tinged with ruby red. Here's a perfect example of why I call my good friend Mason the common man's poet. It's such simple language, but the word choice, it paints such a clear picture. And it just amazes me that a man who cannot see painted such a vividly beautiful I know he could see when he was a kid, but he spent half of his life without sight, and the fact that he still has that ability to paint this vivid picture that I can see in my mind's eye, and it's absolutely stunning. Bravo, sir. Bravo.
See, that kind of leans into the whole idea that, when you write, you are not seeing with your physical eyes, but the eyes of your imagination, which seem,
The true storytellers, at least.
Yeah.
So, but to go back to Caitlin's thing about the comma, it painted the ocean's bubbling gray surface a vivid molten gold, comma, tinged with ruby red. Breaking that up with the comma right after gold would strengthen the solidity of the description, because we would now be 100% sure that the surface was molten gold tinged with red. But when we don't have the comma there, we don't know we don't know the blend, basically. The comma would make it very clear. So it's mostly gold, but a little red. Next sentence. A man stood with his keen eyes fixed on 6 strangers. Okay, that's a short sentence with a period right after. And he actually moves into short sentences, or shorter than the first two right here. Brutish-looking men relaxed around a roaring campfire, ready for their evening meal. Yeah. I'm not sure if I would brutish-looking men relaxing. So here's something. This isn't an issue, but I want to make a point of it because this is a discussion about voice. Okay. So we're clearly writing this in past tense. But right here, we use the word relaxing
Mhm.
instead of relaxed. But because of the setup from the previous sentence, a man stood with his keen eyes fixed on 6 strangers. The syntax in the following sentence of using
Mhm.
relaxing is still proper. So this is one of those places where using relaxed or relaxing would both be acceptable, and that's a voice choice. It's a
Mhm.
small voice choice, but it's these little choices that are strung throughout the length of a manuscript that make up voice.
Mhm.
And personally for me, the way words sound impacts how I feel about them, even when it's just a variation of the same word. When I hear relaxing,
Mhm.
I get a slightly different mental picture than when I hear relaxed.
Mhm.
Because, and here's why. Because when I hear relaxed, the ED immediately shoves to the front of my perception of the word past tense.
Yeah.
So I immediately realize, so they were done relaxing shortly after this sentence. You know, it changes the way I think about the information. Relaxing makes me think it's something they're actively doing, that there's no immediate end in sight.
Mhm.
And so it changes the entire way I think about what those men are doing around their campfire and and the direction that the story is going. And that's how these little tiny little voice choices can have a big impact on the readability and the thought process of your readers as you go through your manuscript. So every little detail matters, folks.
Yes.
Okay. Now we have a very short sentence. The man inhaled. 3-word sentence. We're getting down to descriptions, so that usually tells you there's going to be some action soon.
Mhm.
It's a very common technique, and I have mixed feelings about it, but it's an accepted technique, so what have you. The crisp sea breeze carried the mouth-watering scent of roasting fish. Period. I think that sentence is good. It was a tempting smell, even if it did seem like the meal was in desperate need of seasoning. Now, here's something
I
that you
love
threw in.
how he can tell the difference via smell,
Yes,
which lends
that's what
itself to being like, hey, this is one of those things that lends itself to, hey, this narrator, the narrator himself is blind. Because who would know this except for somebody's senses who were way more
well,
acute?
someone who had a good sense of smell,
Yeah.
or a chef.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I was gonna say, kind of in the same vein of what Caitlin was just saying, this is he threw in this one little sentence here, and we immediately get a ton of characterization and voice. It lends itself, like as Caitlin loves to say, it lends itself very greatly to the voice of the narrator because it's a completely useless piece of information in terms of what's about to happen and the greater story, but the narrator felt a need to point it out.
Yeah.
The narrator thought it was important. That's the essence of narrator voice.
Yeah.
And so, and here's something that you want to think about when you're trying to create narrator voice, okay? Don't let yourself constantly go on asides or use hyper exaggerated language because you want your narrator to speak in a way that the people you're aiming your book at will understand.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why it's so important to not go to extremes to define narrator voice, and why it's very important to know who you're trying to write to so that you can speak in a dialect, in a voice that they will comfortably and easily consume.
Mm-hmm.
So narrator voice is super important, and the characterization. And the other thing is, we feel like this is probably, because of the way the narration is done, close third. So we get the idea that the guy who's watching these dudes around the fire notices that. And that's an interesting little bit of information about his character, like Caitlin was saying.
Yeah. And a great way to be able to do this is also if you treat your story itself like it is a character. If you are not writing in first person, if you treat your story itself almost like it's a character that is interacting with the world and the people, that can help to bring out more of
Did you mean to say
voice.
Story or narrator?
Well, for people who have an issue with creating a good narrative voice, when first getting into this, if they treat the story itself like it is a character, it is a good introductory to building a narrative voice.
I'm
because
not sure
often
if
they
like that idea that way, but if it works for some people, it works for some people. I
well,
guess.
I mean, it's because a lot of people, when first getting into this, they often see narrator and story as separate entities, and it causes an issue.
Yeah, it causes strain. I hear what you're saying. Okay, I want to move down. Caitlin, is there anything in the part following that you wanted to bite into?
No.
Actually, hang on there. So there's one more thing I do want to bite into here. A viciously playful smile crept onto his thin face after months of travel. Period. That's important. A viciously smile crept onto his thin face. Period. Yes. After months of travel, isolation, and boredom, the fun could truly begin again. Mm-hmm. So, in the second sentence, Mason, you really need a comma after boredom, because without the Oxford comma, isolation, boredom, and boredom, the fun. Without that Oxford comma after boredom, it sounds like the boredom was fun, or the fun is going to be it. You need that comma there.
Yeah, well, because how it would break down would be after months of travel, the fun could truly begin again. Would be one thing.
Yeah, because that comma doesn't protect the word boredom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because isolation and boredom are just addendums.
Well, that's not true. You can have a blast in isolation, and you can be bored out of your mind in a social situation. Those two things aren't necessarily the same, Kate.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying they're addendums, like addendum details to the sentence.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Which is why you need the other comma.
Yeah, I misunderstood what you were saying. My bad. Okay. The strangers had the numbers advantage. Okay, so now I want to go down. Here's our first piece of dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Considering you sat on your fat arse doing naught today, you seem more than happy to stuff your face. One man said with a sneer before spearing his own piece of fish to pull out of the fire. Was you talking about naught? I keep watch, and making the fires was cooking your food, you ungrateful prick, replied a second man, tensing his heavily bearded jaw. If looks could kill, the first man would have dropped dead on the spot.
I love that.
Yeah, I love it too. The whole thing is, so the reason I wanted to get to this, the whole thing is so good. First of all, you can instantly tell that this story is either being told by a Brit or it's set in that general.
Well, obviously he said Huxley.
Well, yeah, but some people might not know where Huxley is. I don't know exactly where it is. I just know I vaguely know it's somewhere in the UK.
But I mean, that kind of gives you the idea, though, doesn't it? If you said vaguely in the UK.
Kate, my point is, there's people who are worse at geography than me.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, and I mean, Huxley it's not a capital or anything. You wouldn't even necessarily need to be bad at geography to have never heard Huxley.
But I mean, the word just says that it's.
Oh yeah, I agree. If you looked at the etymology of the word, 100%, it's British as fuck.
It's like, no, this place is in England.
Right. Yeah, no, 100% agree with you there, but some people don't know very much about etymology or linguistics.
Oh, well.
So anyways, one man said with a sneer before spearing his own piece of fish to pull out of the fire. What you talking about? Not. So, okay. So this whole exchange, what's good is we get a very colorful piece of dialogue immediately followed by a descriptive action that's just long enough to fit in all of the flavor we want while still being short enough to be quick and punchy so we can get to the next bit of dialogue. Then we have a second retort where oh, you ungrateful prick, replied a second man, tensing his heavily bearded jaw. If looks could kill, the first man would have dropped dead on the spot. So, first of all, if looks could kill, comma, the first man would have dropped dead on the spot.
Yeah.
Okay. But beyond that, again, we see in this line that Mason has a beautiful sense of how to flow through a conversational scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're getting the idea that motion is happening. People aren't just because sometimes when you read dialogue in a book, it reads like two people are doing this. Yes, I fought the queen. She was a menacing bitch. Thank God we conquered her evil sorceress ass. Yeah, man, my nephew died, but totally worth, yo. Like, sometimes when I read dialogue in books, it feels like the characters are standing there having a conversation like that. What Mason has done here is proven that he knows how to not do that, which is great.
Yes, because most people don't know how to do that right out the gate. And this also too tells you that this person has conversations with lots of people on a regular basis and understands how, flow of conversation should work. So I recommend that people go out and talk to people because it helps.
It's very useful. And it also, so the reason that's important to be able to convey that, this is one of the skills that's kind of a really good windsock of the skill of the narrator.
Yes.
If you cannot write dialogue and the scenes around the dialogue in a way that paints a good mental picture and you can tell how people are saying things and this way they're, the way they're saying things, the tone, the inflections, the body language, okay? If your writing does not convey those things surrounding the dialogue, it's an indicator that you don't really know what you're doing. I don't really know.
It's like this
facts.
Yeah, it's like this person doesn't know what they're doing. But that's very obviously not the case here.
No,
he was worried.
He is somewhere between like adept and mastered at that. It really is quite good. Every bit as good as mine, in my opinion.
I like very, very much. It's like, hey, it flows and it moves, and I actually feel like I'm actually watching two people discourse for real.
Also, just as a quick disclaimer, this is actually better than what's in the Garden of Lies. I got better at it by the second book. I really am quite impressed with this. Anyways, making the fire that you got to sit by for hours. Or, goddamn, Yeah, making the fire that you got to sit by for hours. Meanwhile, the rest of us were down there freezing our bullocks off. But that's too good for you, isn't it, Hob? The first man spat back with a frustrated gesture down to the rocky beach, currently being battered by the ocean waves.
I
downright
love this so much.
That's downright fucking cinematic again. Let me read y'all, because that's poetry. Let me give you this gentle massage on your ears again. The first man spat back with a frustrated gesture down to the rocky beach, currently being battered by the ocean waves. You know what he did there, folks? You know what Mason did with that fucking line?
That's what he did. He touched my soul.
Put your pants back on, Kate.
Shut up.
Okay. What he did was he synchronized the mood of the men with the mood of nature.
Yes.
That's what he did. And that is so powerful. That is a powerful, powerful, powerful storytelling technique. It's because it hits below the surface level of human understanding.
Yeah.
To almost become something that's just innately felt like it's spiritual, okay? And his voice conveyed that thing.
Yeah.
And how did he do it? Here's how he did it. The first man spat back with a frustrated gesture. Spat back. So we instantly hear that he spit the words like you would do at someone you were mad at. With a frustrated gesture. So not only did he vehemently express this idea, but he was rude and abrasive in his gestures and body language. This guy is being a dick.
Yes.
Out of the rocky beach, currently being battered. Those two words, being battered. It tells you that the tide is hitting hard. It tells you that the current is very strong and that the ocean is unfucking forgiving. Okay? So that we now know, so that tells us the mood of the man is synced up to the mood of the water. And again, that's just a spiritual concept that creates good storytelling. Yes. And it's really good. Judd even says he saw you sleep at one point. Yeah, man. Judd says he saw you sleeping. What the fuck, bro? Big ass move. You're supposed to be watching our backs. We could have got ate by bears. Your ass wouldn't even have been awake to see it. Fuck you, Judd. Thank you, folks. I'll be here all week.
Oh my god.
All right. Whew, man. You want to keep digging into this, Kate, or? It's only been about 25 minutes ish.
Yeah. I mean, you think we can?
Let's just go for like another 5.
Okay.
I never was. Hob roared, sending partly chewed fish debris flying from his mouth. This guy's an angry slob. As he jumped to his feet, rounding on a bald-headed third man. So now we get an introduction for a third person. From that line. What you saying that for? Should knock you out telling lies like that. Just saying what I saw, Judd replied, making an attempt to sound bored and scraping food from between his teeth, but he couldn't hide the smirk of satisfaction at the drama unfolding. This guy's a conniving bastard.
Be like, look here, man. Thou who stir the shit pot must lick the spoon.
Oh,
Okay.
God. Why would you say that? Oh, God, on me.
I'm just saying.
Curse you, woman.
These characters, they always get that comeuppance.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, I'm just saying.
Anyways. Hob took an angry step towards him, but then stopped in his tracks as the largest of the 6 men raised his hand in a warning gesture. So, we get a continuation of the scene. We introduce the guy who's apparently being set up to be the leader because he's the largest man, moved hand in a warning gesture. The narrator mentioned those 2 things to convey this is the head motherfucker.
Yeah. Yes, El Jefe, head honcho.
Yes. Chief Executive, Commander-in-Chief.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Once Hob had repositioned himself in front of the fire, nothing more was said for a moment. Everybody was focused on their food, and so nobody noticed the newcomer stride right up, sit down, and help himself to a large chunk of fish. In fact, it was only as he reached for his second piece that Hob raised his head and registered what was happening. Even then, he was more than a little confused and unsure of what he was seeing. So, what I love about that is that gives a very clear level of how serious this whole thing was because they were that distracted. But we also get the idea that maybe this isn't the smartest group of bastards.
But also, what it tells you about the main character
is that he's very sneaky.
Well, not only very sneaky, but he's a very zero fucks given kind of dude.
Oh yeah, for sure. 100%.
I'm walking in here.
Balls the size of dodgeballs made of iron to do that move. Walk up to 6 random ass dudes in the wood you know have weapons.
Mm-hmm. And they're all
their
fighting.
Food that they just worked all day to get. You are asking to die.
And the fact that they're like in the middle of this like heated argument, like on the threshold of a brawl.
Right.
And you just, saunter yourself up in there.
This guy's like,
and
Caitlin, this guy's like, he's like, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. I'm a goat.
That's right.
Oh my god.
It's lovely.
Balls of steel, folks. Oh. Iron Man has softer testicles. We are talking fucking just cold rolled iron jewels, folks.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, this kind of gives me like that almost Geralt sort of vibe.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's like, I'm bad and I know it, and I just like it. I can go wherever I want to, do whatever I want
this
to.
is the kind of thing. This is the kind of thing I could also see like Aragorn doing
Mm-hmm.
if he was trying to make an entrance.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in his younger days before he like got all old and grizzled and shit.
Yeah. This is also a very Ragnar thing to do.
Oh, God. Caitlin.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about us Vikings. We always want the smoke. And we don't care who we're giving it to.
No.
We just want to throw some smoke. It's fun for us.
Yes.
So yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Balls of steel.
Mhm. Oh.
Oh.
Right.
Oh man, yeah. We'll end it there. That was fucking Mason.
Verdict.
Oh wait, why did I? Oh, so, Mason, you stand accused of being the bard of the common man, and I don't think you're an idiot, but like, what is it? What is like? Not idiot, but like just. It doesn't roll off the tongue, but like eccentric. What the fuck was I gonna say?
I don't know.
God damn it! I lost my train of thought, Caitlin.
We're gonna because we were trying to do it. Yeah, we're trying to do give him a verdict of are we charging him?
I forgot the word I was about to use after eccentric.
Eccentric, eclectic.
No, a word that meant right. An eccentric. God damn it.
Word that meant what? And I might be able.
Writer. But it's like another word for it.
Like a scrivener.
No, it started with a V. That's what's driving me crazy here. Caitlin, we're okay, we can't sit here and go down that rabbit hole of trying to fucking
Oh my god. Okay.
All right, folks. Mason of the Dark stands accused of being the bard of the common man and a dope-ass writer.
That's right.
Your sentence, you better fucking get like at least 6 or 7 novels out before you die.
That's right.
Or else there will be hell to pay.
Bad pros, what you gonna do when the prose police are coming for you? Bad pros.
Oh my god. All right, so comments.
Yes.
We have comments. Okay, she said 1 hour later. And then she said, interesting notion on how words impact voice. Why did that go all the way down there? Okay, so, hooks you right away with that description. I totally agree. Thought you'd said he was blind. Another blind author. Woohoo! Yes, we seem to have the monopoly. So, hey, we are cool with that.
Indeed.
We will take everyone. Come on, with ya. Interesting notion on how words impact voice. Yes, because they do. Your word choices are very important when trying to convey the voice of your narrator. And setting the tone for your story. Kind of like choosing score on a movie. Let's see here. Sammy says, hey! OMG! Having so much fun. And hi, Sam. And oh yes, because can't hear anything. That's because she is out right now and drunk. So that is okay. Thank you for stopping by, Sam. You can smell how it's cooked, but not that it'd be unseasoned. Yeah. I don't know where it was. Just goes to show blind people can be good writers. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. And hello, bot.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with that. You know, Ray Charles, arguably one of the greatest pianists of all time,
Mm-hmm.
blind man.
Yes. Or Stevie Wonder.
Blind black man from the South, Stevie Wonder too. Both of them incredibly talented musicians. God, I love their shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, both blind.
Both of them are blind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no problem with that at all. Anyways.
Yeah.
Caitlin, we get somewhat off track sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, we can. But
Alrighty.
Okay. So we're done with comments. And now we're moving on to the next segment. Where are we going, Kuno and Zanos?
My friend, have you ever thought about tennis?
Maybe.
Have you?
Have
Well,
you?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about tennis. And this is some stuff that, you know, some of it's surface level, some people never think about, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing about tennis. So you got these dudes in tight white clothing. Sometimes it's basically see-through.
Yep.
And they're jumping around with phallic objects in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
Swinging at a ball.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, do I need to explain the metaphors and the symbolism all the way through this sport? Do I need to, like, it's kind of right there at the first level beneath the surface. It's like, holy shit. We got two guys playing a game with each other, arguably visually naked. And the whole point of the game they're playing is to use their stick to hit balls.
Mm-hmm.
That is the most homoerotic. That is homosexual foreplay. And look, nothing wrong with being a homosexual, but let's be honest about the sport, okay? This is gay courtship. That's what that is.
Courtship.
You know,
oh my god! Do we even? I mean, are we even going to talk about the fact that these balls are fuzzy?
Facts. These fuzzy balls. The hairiest balls you've ever
did see.
You could not find a hairier ball than a tennis ball.
I mean, you might.
Caitlin. Oh god. And that's the kind of high quality humor that you get when you tune into Adventurous After Dark. Good morning, Caitlin.
Good morning, Zach.
And today on AuthorTube News.
Oh my god.
Oh man. So yeah, folks. Tennis, it's pretty gay. It's pretty gay. And you know, again, nothing wrong with that. let's just be honest.
Mm.
Pretty gay.
I love how Lauren says doubles, 2 for 1 special. But only a 2-drink minimum here, people.
Oh my God. This has been the gayest sports that nobody calls gay.
They will now.
Thank you. I'd like to think that I'm a fairly persuasive speaker.
I would say so.
Okay. So, folks, here's what I am going to do for you.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to share some of my musical inclinations with you. I am going to talk to you about a beloved fantasy classic, Eragon, first book of the Inheritance Saga by Christopher Paolini. You should really check it out. I think it's landmark fantasy writing.
Yes.
Very good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to do them at the same time in a new segment I call Rap Reviews. Yeah, mic check 1, 2. What it be, what it is, what it do. It's time for another rap review. So, I'm going to put a beat on,
Mm-hmm.
and I am going to rap you my personal feelings on Eragon. Mm-hmm. 1 second, I'll get it out here.
Go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Caitlin.
Mm-hmm. We ready? Let's go.
Yo, Saphira Thitty. So, oh God, hang on. I'm sorry, I fucked up. 1 second. I'm nervous. God damn it, Zach.
You're a natural at this.
Yeah, shut up.
You're not.
Saphira. Dragon hips don't lie. Listen. Tale about a boy named Eragon. One day he woke up, that day his life was gone. Found a dragon egg up in the mountains. It's about to rain, blood like fountains. Just a simple farm cleared. Now he about to split lids. Learn magic from his dad. About to be super bad. Chosen one on a quest, feeling super rad. Elf Princess Aria with the longbow. Dragon riding white boy with the fire flow. Last dragon rider, so you know he about to blow. Fate of the world hanging, yeah, this ain't for show. Galatarix, that dude's a bitch. He could really get hit with the switch. If you like the vampire, then use a snitch. Stealing others, riders, dragons sitting on his throne, drinking flagons while people sacrificing kiss to rise, acting wagons. This could never happen if our hero was a Baggins. Eragon getting sloppy, nuts sagging, about to call him Bilbo Saggins. You heard what I said. Battle of the Burning Plains, what they call it when I spit flames. Rap crazy cause I'm insane. Stupid red dragon stole Dolge's name. If Dolge fought Eragon, who'd bring the pain? It's Dolge. Dolge would smoke Eragon in a fight.
Obviously.
So, folks, those are my feelings on if Aragon was to be given a review in a rap song. I hope you found this as enjoyable as I did. This has been Rap Reviews. Yeah, mic check 1, 2. What it be, what it is, what it do. It's time for another rap review.
Yay!
Let me know in the comments if you like.
Aragon has dragons. How can it be bad? And we have a winner. We have a winner.
Thank you, Lord. Thank
Yay,
you.
I like this
It means
segment.
a lot. Yeah, if you like that segment, let me know in the comments. Like the video, share it with your friends.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
I spit flame. It's good bars, even if it's not, even if you're not necessarily a book nerd. Look, I'm bringing the heat over here.
Okay.
Tune in for this segment, yo.
Yeah. If you wanna get like a quick little bitty education on books or movies or graphic novels or whatever that all your friends are talking about, you can just listen to this like right quick and be like, okay, I have a vague knowledge of what everyone is talking about, and I got it in a really cool song, so it'll be easy to remember.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much. Let me know what you think in the comments. It really does mean a lot.
Yes. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have a winner. So,
Mm-hmm.
where
Sorry,
to?
I'm getting back to the show map. I accidentally pulled it down.
And Zach did it on the spot. It's not easy. No, it is not. This is why, see, he is.
This is why they call me the Mad Bard.
Yep, because he is naturally talented. You're welcome.
High praise from you, my friend.
Wow, can't be any less than honest.
All right, next, guys, we have our weekly poetry segment. It's time for a segment that we here at Team Adventurous like to call Rebel Poets Society, motherfuckers.
That beat gets me every time.
Yeah, I like that intro too. I think it's one of my more bombastic pieces, but damn it, I love it.
It's so great. It's like every time I can't hear that music without thinking of that now. I'm just like, yeah.
So, I'm going to share a poem that's very old.
Mm-hmm.
People argue that it's so old it's author unknown because the most recent date of publication, or excuse me, the oldest date of publication was like in the 20s or 30s or something. But this guy is suspected to have not written this because there's been documents older than that found. And it's thought to be like 1,000 years old, for context. So ancient poetry is what I'm telling you.
Yes.
The piece is called.
It is old.
I'm sorry, my mouth is dry.
That is okay.
The piece is called Deserterata. Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even to the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter. For always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all arity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. But do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations in this noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. Deserterata, author unknown. Oldest documents found in a Catholic cathedral, as far as I remember.
Yes. And in Latin.
In Latin.
Desiderata means things that are yearned for.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, whoever wrote that was a fucking boss.
Yes.
Yeah, that's, my dad, that was his favorite poem. And he said he learned more. I think I remember my dad saying that he learned more about how to be a man from that poem than he really did from his own father. I think I remember my dad saying something to that effect. I'm not sure that's the exact quote, but you get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And every time I go back to it, every 2-3 years, I get a hair up my ass to look at that again because I knew it was my old man's favorite.
Yeah.
He said he'd listened to it, he said he'd read it hundreds of times over the course of his life. It was one of the best pieces of advice my old man ever gave me, was to just go back and look at that poem every few years, now that I think about it.
Well, yeah, because it's one of those, and when you first presented it to me, I wasn't completely sure what it was, but that was because I'd only ever heard it in Latin. I'd never actually heard it in English. And it's one of those that it changes with like each transitional part of your life, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's good to go back and refer to it.
Yeah, man. Whoever the Christian poet was that wrote that, I would argue that the author of that poem was a genius theologist.
Mm-hmm.
He had memorized and cross-analyzed the entirety of Scripture
Yeah.
to put together the core principles of the Bible and then put it in a poem.
Yeah.
It's a masterwork, folks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because this is one of those things that, well, why classic literature is as good as it is and still relevant in some cases now to go back to it, because what made it so timeless was the fact that, and just so resonant with so many people, is because all of these people who created classic literature had a basis in morality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is what Jordan Peterson was talking about the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on GRE. Yeah, the Bible is so fundamental to the base of Western thought that basically all Western thought is built upon the founding ideas that are laid out in the Bible.
Yeah.
Self-sufficiency, being independent and free, being a self-educated man,
Mm-hmm.
all of those things, biblical principles.
Yeah. Being and not being ashamed of your humanity.
Yes. Yep. That's New Testament. That's New Testament for sure.
Yeah. Well, because, the old, they were like, okay, look here. Here's how you rein in this wily son of a bitch. And, and then the other half is like, well, here's how you live with the wily son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. There's a lot of biblical wisdom that's even if you didn't believe a word of God existing, you could still take the parables and get the good lesson from them and end up with a pretty damn good person.
Oh yeah, but I mean that's
good principles to live by.
Yeah, this is why we need to go back and read stuff like Les Miserables and Hunchback of Notre Dame and Crime and Punishment and all of those things, or even stuff by Charles Dickens.
Yeah.
Because everybody.
Yeah.
They all had a basis in a functioning moral compass and an emphasis on the fact that it was a relationship and not a religion. Because if you're going to, exert the, effort to put forth the faith and acknowledge that, it is a being that you are in touch with, why would you not treat them with the same amount of respect that you would, a person that you're cultivating a relationship with?
Mm-hmm. Caitlin, did you bring anything to share today?
No. Other than the translation of what the name was.
Okay. Well, we haven't gotten a fan submission for this week. We have 3 people in the audience. Does anyone want me to share something I wrote? Yes, no, maybe banana.
Yes, no, maybe.
I'll give
Banana.
I'll give it a 10 count.
Tomato.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No
I
new
say-
comment. Huh?
I say you should.
All right. Well, I didn't hear an objection, so okay.
And she says yes. Share, Zach.
Okay,
So
sweet.
yes.
Thank you, Lauren. Do 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 do. You want it, Caitlin? You want to hear a poem I wrote in support of Israel?
Sure. Yeah. Wanna?
Yep. The title is simply A Poem for Israel.
Mm.
The bombs still fall even after the letters of peace. The hatred still seethes even though we wish it cease. They call us evil. They wish us dead even after we give them shelter and water and bread. Our light is the last in this desert of despair and destruction. As God's people go, so goes the world. I wrote that in response. I actually wrote that in response to a Muslim poet who did one on a Facebook group that I was in. He did a Muslim poem in support of Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, nope, I'm not, I reject your propaganda, sir. That's a load of horse shit. Yeah, so I was like, no, I'm not letting that go unanswered.
Yeah. Ooh. Lauren says, I can't submit every week, can I?
Lauren, you can submit every week and, help us grow the audience, and we'll find some other people to submit. But if you want to submit, you can still submit every week. You don't have to look. Send it in, man. I will spend half an hour reading fan poems. Like, I really will.
We will do it. Send us all of your poetry. We will read it. We're trying to establish PoetryTube.
Yes. We're serious bleeding heart poets over here.
Serious. Snaps. Thanks for staring, Zach. I think she meant sharing.
She meant sharing.
But, if you want him to stare at you, not that you could really.
If you want me to stare at you, go check out a video on our second channel, IYFA. And there is an epic video of me staring into the camera.
And you can, and you can play that on loop.
Yes, you can.
And get all of the Zach staring at you that you can handle, or not.
Was that a flirt joke, Caitlin? Is that what that was?
Maybe. I don't know. Is there such a thing as too much staring?
Yes. Oh God, Caitlin, don't make it weird.
Oh, make it all the weird.
Oh God.
Make it all the weird.
Get out of here, Schmeagol.
Or put the room.
First of all, Caitlin, fuck you.
What? But the fans love it, because the process. Yes, we'll stand for the process. We'll do. Oh, come on. You love it. You know you do.
Oh my God, Caitlin! I swear, one of these days, Caitlin.
You sweater guard.
Smack you, but like on the ass.
A sweater guard. He's now warm and cozy.
Oh God, woman,
Yep.
you're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Killing me. Disrespect. All right.
One of these days, what will happen? Do tell.
All right. All right. All right, folks. This next segment, this goes back to the root days of this show's incarnation back on Caitlin's channel. Go check out some old episodes if you want to. If you just want a whole ass archive of footage of me and Caitlin.
Yes.
So we're going to begin our last segment of the night. Caitlin, what are we?
We are genius.
Genius. Yeah, so listen, man, the fucking cancer of Booktube, it's gonna kill us all.
Yeah. It's already begun.
It's already malignant, and at this point, serious intervention is needed.
Yep. We are on the road to metastasization. I don't know. It's metastasized, and it's everywhere.
We, of course, speak of the cancer of instant gratification. Listen, folks. People who read used to be the smart crowd. Since, like, the dawn of human history up until, like, the 1800s. Okay.
Well, and further.
What?
And further, I would argue.
And further, yeah. I'd argue there was still a wide cultural perception of that all the way into, like, the 1900s. And then it began to decay 80s, 90s, 2000s. There was some kind of a cultural shift, and now people who read were nerds and weird. And from that point forward, the instant gratification crowd began getting a stronger and stronger voice in the public art sphere. And boy, oh man, oh geez, let me tell you that Oh, the slip in core principles of our entertainment happened so fast.
Mm.
The instant gratification crowd used to be confined to radio, then television, then movies, then it hit music. Well, actually, it had been running through music that whole time, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, until we're up to today, and the average TikTok is like 10 seconds. You see the progression there, and now it's infecting books.
Yeah.
And now it's infecting literature.
Mm-hmm.
This shit's a cultural cancer, and it needs to fucking stop. The instant gratification literature needs to stop. The buck has to stop somewhere. Look, you want a big fat hit of dopamine from your TV? Fine. You want a big fat hit of dopamine from your music? Great. That's one of its core functions, actually.
Yep.
You want to get a big fat hit of dopamine from like going to plays and sports and all kinds of other shit? Yeah, good. Go there for your dopamine. When you're fucking reading, you're supposed to be cultivating your serotonin. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be a balance. And fucking A, man. That was the serotonin thing was a metaphor, so that's clear. I don't want people coming after me like that's not how the brain works. I know it's a metaphor. So anyways, yeah, man, you've got to fucking read and read good shit. And this demand from so much of the reading market at one point that wanted fast food fiction and instant gratification fiction. That started off as a very small portion of them. And there was already enough stuff for them to read.
Yeah.
That reader market did not need to be grown upon. As a good scribe, it is your mission to teach a lesson in your stories. These are my thoughts on the very philosophy of being a writer, in case that's not totally obvious. And I personally think that as a writer, you have a mission and a goal to further the best ideas of your culture. That's what should run through your stories. Because those are the principles and morals that people learn. Parents can only do so much. And I would argue that's the best interpretation of it takes a village to raise a child. The culture needs to be a culture that is positive for children. And that is controlled through the stories that culture tells. Period. And so it is so important that we as writers do not cater excessively to the instant gratification crowd. And doubly, it is a responsibility of the common man to engage in intellectual pursuits and seek to enrich themselves. And no one ever enriched themselves and became a better person instantly. You see the issue? You need to cultivate the discipline and enjoyment of language that it takes to be a good reader. And vice versa. Reading and engaging in the stories of your culture is integral to understanding your people. So the relationship in culture between the reader and the writer it's fundamental to the fabric of society, is what I'm saying to you.
Well, because a lot of people, they disregard the fact that writing is a form of communication. It's a conversation that happens over time, and it's transcendent of time. And one of the best ways to teach people to be better communicators is for them to read good fiction. Just like an example with Mason's prose that we read earlier, and the fact that he was so adept at being able to bring forth a good discourse between all of his characters, showed that he's got a good grasp on proper communication. Because, first of all, obviously he took the time to consume good literature, and he cultivates relationships and good communication with the people around him. And another thing too, a lot of people don't realize that reading actually helps to rewire your brain.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are constantly wiring your brain with things that are for the purpose of instant gratification, constantly getting things handed to you, just up front, really short information with very simple wordage that's, not complex in its construction at all, or if the syntax is bad, or, punctuation is constantly off, or there isn't any kind of a real actual story structure where you have to use your mind to logic and work things out yourself, eventually this actually deteriorates your brain. This is why we call it fast food fiction, because it does very similar things to your body. I mean, it does very similar things to your mind that eating, an overabundance of fast food does to your body. And writing this shit is even worse.
Yeah, because then you get a dopamine hit when your story does good, and it reinforces the storyteller in their bad habit, and they never improve.
Not only that, okay, these, and I'm going to show this on my channel, these fast food fiction, right to market, instant gratification, dopamine,
we get it. We get it.
Poison traps, okay, are all crafted by a formula. And a lot of people
me about this.
They're all crafted by a formula. And if a writer gets into the habit of constantly using this formula over and over again, it automatically wires their mind to only fit their creativity into this formula, which creates boredom from stagnation, which eventually completely kills the imagination and ability to actually strategize and use creative thought on your own. And this is where writer's block comes from, because they're like, oh, well, where do you find new ideas? I can't come up with any new ideas. It's because you got into the habit of having the ideas handed to you, and your brain was like, oh, well, this will be easy. All I have to do is, fill out this little grid chart, basically. I can paint by numbers, and, it'll be easy. I'll just do it just for a little while. But then you get so lazy that eventually you end up, looking like your brain ends up, being the equivalent of Mikado avocado. And, you eventually run out of ideas or, the ability to just use logic in your everyday life eventually. Because it doesn't just deteriorate your creativity, it actually deteriorates sometimes even your ability to navigate relationships with people around you, your emotional stability, all kinds of things go off the deep end just from this one thing sometimes.
Yep. Because the more you get in the habit of thinking in a box, the less you get in the habit of any kind of creative, unique, new solution.
Yeah, and being able to think for yourself, which is
a stagnant person.
Yeah. And being able to think for yourself and take possession of your own creativity, I would argue, is probably one of the greatest gifts anybody was ever given.
Oh, and by the way, not being a stagnant person, that's important for your physical brain's health. Just so you know that. Like, they've linked Alzheimer's to reduced thought.
Yeah.
And closing down of synapses.
Mm-hmm.
So what did I just say? Thinking in a box and always thinking the same thoughts. Your thoughts run along your synapses.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think in a box and you're always thinking the same thoughts on the same synapses, your other synapse will atrophy.
Yeah.
That's what Alzheimer's is.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Having a thought sends an electrical pulse through the wiring of your brain. If the wiring is frequently used, how can it accumulate waste? How can it accumulate debris? The chemical electric charge cleans crap out of your brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you need to use as much of your brain as possible all the time.
All the time.
That's what keeps it healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So you got music for dopamine. You got sports for dopamine. You have the theater, movies, TV for dopamine. Cultivate some fucking serotonin.
Yes. As well as other things. And Lauren says, I think I know an author that does this and claimed she was a better writer than me. You'd be like, no, if you use a shake and bake, microwavable, writing formula.
Yeah.
No, you are not better.
Yeah.
In fact, actually,
you are less. They'll argue, well, we get sales. Yeah, and we just demonstrated why that's not a good measure of your skill as a writer.
Exactly. No.
You are catering to the lowest common denominator of entertainment.
And
your
I will
writing
tell you,
is not as good as mine.
Right. And I will tell you, okay, just because there is quantity does not mean the quality is good. Okay. Example, E.L. James, 50 Shades of Grey, and The Mister. Okay. Dear God. So, just because it sold copy does not make it an end-all to be-all good. Just because it was a bestseller does not mean that the writing itself was good. Okay, yeah, all right. $65 million, you're laughing your way all the way to the bank. That's great. Good for you. You made sales. But at what cost? At what cost?
A hefty one to your soul, let me tell you.
Exactly. You know, yeah, you know, what worth is it that a man gains the whole world yet loses his soul? This is one of those things that they were talking about. And you know, they might try and argue that people who, you know, write to market are not soulless, or they, you know, don't create things that are soulless and devoid of creativity. Yes, they do. It does not require any kind of skill. It does not require any at all high form of intellect or use of creativity whatsoever.
Hey, Caitlin.
Mm-hmm.
And you're about to prove it, right?
Yes, I am. Yeah, because
Got an upcoming project to prove.
Oh my god, a whole 4 books. Let's just put it there. Yeah. And it only took me a few hours. I don't know if I'm going to, but yeah, it only took me a few hours. Let's just put it that way. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and I would argue actually that it was better because I did channel a little bit of Jane Austen. But you know, yeah. So let's you heard it here first, folks. If Jane Austen wrote Twilight, how would that look? We're about to find out. So yeah. But yeah, it does not require really much any kind of creativity, high level of skill, or intellect whatsoever. They're like, oh, okay, this doesn't require much experience, plug and play. I can do this and make, you know, a ton of sales quick, fast, and in a hurry. And for the rest of us out here who actually take this seriously, that's a slap in the face, especially those of us who are trying to establish the legitimacy of self-publishing. So, no thank you, Jeff, and your stupid Kindle Vella and all of that other, you know, let's make this as easy as possible thing. Because just as it's been really great for a lot of people in the self-publishing community, it's also been very, very detrimental because of all of these people that I'm referring to. And the thing to remember about this, and I think the reason why it looks like it is as easy as it is, and why people can claim that Amazon is the biggest and only show in town when it comes to self-publishing, is because remember the principle of the weaker vessels make the most noise. Okay? Because they are able to put out such a high quantity in a very short amount of time and able to produce it as quickly with as little cost as possible, is how come they are able to saturate the market and make it look like they're doing better than everyone else. This is not entirely the case, because there are people who are still making quite a good income selling to real readers after having established their own market by cultivating their own faithful readership, kind of like Stephen King has done, Neil Gaiman.
And what do we mean by real readers? Brave readers, intrepid readers, curious readers, readers who take storytelling as an art form seriously.
Yes.
Motherfuckers who love to think about a good story. Philosophers. Yes. That's who's fucking good readers, motherfucker.
Exactly. People that you find that don't frequent social media quite as much as a lot of the instant gratification crowd. People that actually frequent places like Goodreads, or actual bookstore websites, or exclusive websites for authors specifically. And this is why I think it's very, very...
Or Reddit, or Reddit's fucking forum.
Sometimes.
Too.
Sometimes.
Yes. But also 100% of the 4chans writing in book-centered boards. Those people.
Yes.
I love them.
But yeah, these are the places that you find people who actually read. So I guess really this is just a message to all of you people out there who are just overwhelmed, bewildered, and like, what the fuck? You know, how are we ever going to possibly be successful unless we, bend the knee and, write to market, because nobody's ever going to look at my story unless somehow I get my foot in the door that way. That's not true. Okay, that's the same as, selling yourself out to a gatekeeper at Trad Pub. It's no different. It's the infection just has a different face.
Yep. So yeah, I think that runs a tight little stitch through it and double knots it at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Instant gratification is cancer to storytelling.
Yep.
Arguably cancer everywhere, but
it destroyed Trad Pub, and now it's coming for us, and we need to stop it right here.
Yeah. Look at how bad some of traditional publishing has gotten.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck were you people thinking?
They weren't. That's the problem.
They were thinking with their wallet.
Well, yeah, because they can't think with their brains anymore.
Mama's spice, it means the mouse. Master.
So yeah.
A scathing rebuke from Caitlin. How do you answer? Caitlin, I don't. They seem to be burned to death. I don't think they're going to reply.
No. Feel the burn.
Aloe vera ain't gonna fix that.
Nope.
Kate came through with the cat. Firing all these motherfuckers. Black, black, black. And now y'all are burned.
All the burn are belong to you. You're welcome.
Bars.
Oh. So.
Oh man. All right, Caitlin.
Mm-hmm.
Well, have we wrapped that one up nicely with a nice little bow?
I think so.
You think so, huh?
So we are.
We are genius.
Yeah.
Team Adventurous, baby.
Yeah. Shots fired. Yes. I do rather like doing that. It's fun.
So everyone, sincerely hope you enjoyed the show. We love doing it for you. Share it with your friends. Nothing helps more than that. That literally helps more than anything could. Share the show. Share it around with everyone. And we sincerely appreciate you being here. Means the world to us.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And Mason, we look forward to your comments. I know they will be in the morning.
I wish that limey git could be here. I will travel to England and meet you, good sir.
Yes, we will
By
do
God, I am coming the second it is not impossible to do so. Maybe a little later. Did you get the point?
Yeah, we will do it. We will show up at your house, man. We will figure it out. We will show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Team Adventurous, man.
Yes. It'd be great. We'll go get a pint.
He said he'd rather have a cookie.
Oh, well.
So wholesome. Oh, so wholesome, that man.
Yes, but I love it.
All right, everyone.
Yay! Lauren says you guys are awesome. You are awesome, Lauren.
You are awesome for being here, Lauren. We really appreciate you.
Yes. And tell Nikki she is also awesome, even though she's out LARPing.
And by the way, Kate, I completely forgot to mention.
What?
Guys. Oh, man, I completely almost forgot.
What? What did you almost forget?
I completely almost forgot, Caitlin, that.
Uh-huh.
We added.
Oh, yeah.
We added these
That's right.
to
You guys on
our channels.
Yeah.
Featured section. I'm
Yes.
trying to bring it up, and now let me share my screen.
Yep. So share the screen and show everybody that we have officially inducted author Lauren Adele and Nikki, the blind mage.
You see that, Kate?
It's really tiny.
Okay, hang on. Damn it. I'm trying to share a screenshot here, and I'm not having much luck. Boy, golly gee, let me tell you.
Golly gee.
Okay, look, the point
Now
is,
who's having technical
added their
difficulties?
channels to the featured section of the entirety of Team Adventurous's channels with Mason, Sammy, and Pay probably don't have them on there yet. I got to try to convince them of. I got to beg all of them to be willing to do that.
Yeah,
but I can't make them.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they'll be good sports about it. But yeah.
But yeah, because we are the lead adventurers, they're on our channels.
Yep. So you can find them under fellow adventurers on our featured channels on our pages. Yep. Author Lauren Adele and Nikki the Blind Mage. So go and subscribe and all that stuff.
Yep. We really appreciate you guys for being here. We really, really do.
Mm-hmm.
And every author tuber or booktuber in the audience, we will add you to that fellow adventurers. If you're here on the channel participating, send us some screenshots of your subscriptions. We want you here. We want to build community. We want to make friends. We just have some mama spicy takes on some things.
Yeah, but that's okay. We like to bring the heat because we keep it nice and warm in here.
That's spicy.
Yep.
But yeah, everyone, thank you so much for being here. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. Share it around is the biggest one, really. Yep. We have merch if you want it, but the biggest thing, just share it around. Please and thank you.
Yep.
Love each and every one of y'all. No homo.
Right. We like the spicy meatball.
We love the spicy meatball.